The Roman gladiators, symbols of strength, skill, and resilience, were much more than mere combatants in an ancient arena. They embodied a complex interplay of entertainment, societal values, and the raw human instinct for survival. To truly grasp how these fighters faced their deadliest foes, one must delve into their training, the dynamics of the arena, and the strategies they employed when confronted with mortal peril. The training ground of champions. Gladiators were not born, they were forged in the crucible of rigorous training. Enslaved captives, criminals, or volunteers, each underwent grueling preparation at specialized schools called Ludi Gladiatori. Under the watchful eyes of a lanista miao trainer, these fighters were drilled daily in the use of their weapons, physical conditioning, and the psychological resilience needed to endure the brutal spectacle of the games. Training wasn't just about honing combat skills, it was about survival. Gladiators learned to read their opponents, predict attacks, and exploit weaknesses. Each fighter was trained in a specific combat style, often based on historical or mythical figures, such as the heavily armored Secutor, the agile Retiarius with his net and trident, or the versatile Myrmillo. This specialization meant that gladiators often faced foes with entirely different fighting techniques, adding an element of unpredictability to each match. The arena, a stage of survival. When the gladiators stepped into the amphitheater, they weren't just fighting for their lives, they were performing for the masses. The Colosseum, the grandest of these arenas, was more than a battleground. It was a theater of spectacle, where life and death hung in the balance. Gladiators were expected to display courage, honor, and a sense of drama. A cowardly performance could result in a swift and humiliating death, while a valiant effort, even in defeat, might earn the crowd's mercy. Deadliest of all were the mismatched fights designed for maximum drama. A Retiarius, lightly armed and relying on agility, might face a Secutor encased in heavy armor with a curved sword. The former needed to outmaneuver his opponent, while the latter sought to corner and crush. Each bout was a test not only of skill, but of wit and adaptability. Facing exotic and ferocious foes. Gladiators were not always pitted against one another. Often, they faced wild beasts, lions, tigers, bears, or even elephants, unleashed into the arena in staged hunts called venaciones. These animals, starved and agitated, were formidable adversaries. Armed with only a spear or short sword, gladiators needed to rely on precision and composure to bring down these ferocious creatures. A single mistake could mean a swift and brutal end. Sometimes, gladiators were thrown into battles against multiple opponents or groups, creating scenarios that tested their endurance and teamwork. The ultimate goal was survival, but also to captivate the audience with a display of raw human tenacity against impossible odds. The strategy of survival. What set the best gladiators apart was their ability to strategize in the heat of battle. Facing a heavily armored opponent, a skilled gladiator would aim for the gaps in their defenses, targeting joints, the neck, or exposed limbs. Against a faster adversary, they might focus on maintaining a defensive stance, waiting for their opponent to tire or make a critical error. When fighting wild animals, the strategy often revolved around control and timing. Gladiators would use the terrain of the arena, leading the beast into a trap or exploiting its predictable behavior. The courage required to stand firm as a charging lion approached was unimaginable. Yet the most seasoned fighters knew that hesitation was their greatest enemy. The gladiator's legacy. Every match was a dance with death, and every opponent, human or beast, was a stepping stone toward fame or oblivion. For some, the thrill of victory and the hope of freedom made the risk worthwhile. Victorious gladiators were celebrated as heroes, their names echoing through the amphitheaters of Rome. They were offered freedom and wealth, yet for many, the lure of the arena brought them back to fight again. In facing their deadliest foes, Roman gladiators became icons of resilience and bravery. Their legacy endures as a testament to the extremes of human endurance and the price of glory in a society that demanded spectacle above all else.